And so there are, I think Puck News got a scoop about how Paramount is on the verge of acquiring Barry Weiss's Free Press for up to $200 million in valuation, which I think is like
Mm.
crazy.
Mhm.
And this deal reportedly is on the 1 yard line and would essentially hand the keys of CBS News over to Barry Weiss.
I just don't know, like, I know that that's how it's being worded, but I'd wanna see those papers. I wanna know actually how much say she has and everything, because right now, yeah, $200 million sounds incredible if you're looking at the financial aspect of it, but so is the freedom to run your organization however you'd like. Like right now, Barry Weiss can do whatever she wants at the Free Press. She can hire who she wants, she can fire. She can make editorial decisions, she can pick the topics, she can emphasize certain things and not do the interviews as she wants. And I wonder what kind of control someone like or an organization like Paramount or CBS would have over her editorial decisions. That to me is the most fundamental important question, because if they at all are able to feel like they have the ability or the right, the legal right to rein her in and tell her what she can and can't publish, then she's just going to end up exactly where she was at the New York Times, or at the very least, she'll end up being the media that we all have grown tired of.
Well, I mean,
Fox, CNN, all that.
the way this is being reported is that it's not that CBS is acquiring to the Free Press in order to take over the Free Press. It's
Uh
more
huh.
like they're acquiring the Free Press to then make CBS more in line with how the Free Press is being run, which is
Yeah.
why there's this talk about handing the keys over to Barry Weiss. Now, obviously, the f the way that's being reported sounds good, but
Yeah.
how it works out in practice remains to be seen,
Yeah.
and what protections she would set up in order to make sure that she would have that kinda editorial control would be really important. I
That's what I
think
want to know
why
about.
Yeah, so I do have concerns about how this could damage the free press, because I think the free press has really mattered in this independent news revival, or not
Hmm.
revival, but just like movement that has
Hmm.
happened over the last like 5 to 10 years. But in addition to that, I am curious to see if this is because remember, CBS has been going through a lot of changes right now because of Paramount and acquiring them, and they've been
Hmm.
moving certain talent out. Barry Weiss has really created something unique and special at a fraction of the price of what CBS spends
Yeah.
in order to produce content in their programs. And so my guess is that they'll probably end up cutting if she actually does get control, they'll end up cutting a bunch of people over at CBS. So it'll be a
Yeah.
huge shakeup. It's just the question remains to see is like, is CBS recognizing what has happened in the industry and making moves to kind of realign themselves with and create and revive what it is that the news is meant to be?
Yeah. I mean, that'll be interesting because CBS is legacy. So they would have to like
Yeah,
totally retrain and reorient their entire project. Like it's not going to be able to be run the same way it's been run for the decades and have the same result that they see Barry Weiss having. Like they would have to shake things
absolutely.
up and it'd have to be run totally different. So I guess it remains to be seen if they're going to be willing to do that. I just am concerned because whenever I hear, no matter what they're saying, the agreement is, whenever I hear something like that, NBC or CBS or Fox is acquiring this, it's like, because that was the allure. That was the, really interesting part about the free press is it was beholden to nobody. And so
Yeah.
I am curious to see what happens. But what I think is hilarious, I did see last night. Did you send it to me? The clip of Tim Dillon, the comedian,
No, I
just
didn't send
going,
that to you.
yeah,
I
just going
I
off on this whole thing. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And he knows Barry Weiss. I think he's been in interviews with her, or he even went to one of her events she did. And he was just like, her, what? Like, he was genuinely confused. I thought it was a really interesting take. I didn't know where exactly it came from, but he was very, like, not opposed, but just surprised why her publication or she specifically would get picked up. I thought it was really interesting.
Well, and I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is not celebration.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's skepticism. I can get, excuse me, I think I just burped into the microphone. I can I can get, how $200 million would be really enticing and,
Yeah.
there can be a narrative of her selling out her independence in order for, for money and but also at the same time being the annoying optimist that I tend to be sometimes. I am hoping is what this actually is a sign of legacy media realizing how royally they have screwed up and damaged their brand and that they're trying to course correct. And
Yeah,
then
well,
my hope
yeah.
is that
Mhm.
other institutions will do the same thing, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, all the people at the New York Times who worked with Barry or who, were her bosses, and then she just, like, lit a match and blew the whole thing up when she left, they're all going, "Oh, okay." If I'm reading Tim Dillon correctly, his was more like, why her? Why is she getting picked up? Like, you think it's such a they're saying it's such a niche thing, Substack. Like, yeah, she could be big on Substack, but is she really at the center of this news movement? And he was real skeptical about that. And I was surprised by that. But also, we are perpetually online and very much on Twitter where everything kind of crosses over and touches each other. And so I was thinking about it. I was like, well, do people outside of Substack and social media know about the free press? I certainly do. I've been
Well,
following Barry for years, but
yeah, I think I don't if we're talking about there's like we always talk about there's categories of people.
yeah.
There's like the perpetually online, there's people of influence, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think though that it's maybe she doesn't have like normies, you know what I mean?
Like the boomers that sit at home and watch Fox
Yeah,
News all
or
the
what
time.
or even like the mom who's doing carpool or whatever. Let's just
Yeah.
say that's just too busy and isn't someone who enjoys or not enjoys, but wants to be informed on not like obviously not our listeners because
Yeah. You
they're
love being
awesome.
informed.
Exactly. That's why you're here. But I'm just talking about like like my girlfriends. Like I sent you that text thread the other day of some of my closest girlfriends. Like they have no idea. They have no idea of who the free press is or even
Yeah.
of anything that's going on in the world if I don't tell them. So I'm talking about those individuals. However, my speculation would be is that not only has Barry Weiss and the free press created a very unique and niche news platform, but I guarantee you that that email list that she has is worth dollar bills, okay?
Yeah.
Because she probably has tech influence there. I bet you Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, who suddenly has changed his tune, is probably on that email list. And
Hmm.
all of these other people of influence and power. So
Yeah.
I would, and who have actually shied away, who used to be the the primary, email list, which was the New York Times.
Yeah.
Like, let's be
Hmm.
honest. So yeah, like it does seem very niche, and I don't know if it's $200 million worth because I think her the speculation is that I think they bring in maybe 15 million annually.
Hmm.
But, if you're trying to rebrand, if you're trying to get access to that email list, if you're trying to create something new, like why would she switch over if you weren't going to offer her like a stupid amount of money?
Well, of course. And there
You
are
know what I
some things
mean?
she has going for her, like, I mean, she has a great podcast that a lot of people listen to, so that's already built in, but also she has great production quality. Everything they put out is really, really well done. They have a huge list of contributors. They do get
And
breaking
diverse
stories.
contributors. It's
Yeah.
not just like one-sided. And they do those debate events, which I think are
Yeah.
really awesome on
Yeah.
hot topic issues too. They're not
Yeah.
afraid to really cover like hot topic issues that are, incredibly divisive, especially online, and
Yeah.
they go for it. So that's a
I
credit to
guess
them.
we're gonna see. I don't know. I hope that it doesn't kind of morph what the free press has grown to be.